In this video, we're going to be talking about how ladies are dropping 3 to 4 dress sizes without starving themselves and without living in a gym with my good friend J Lopez, also known as the Trainer Guide. I'm going to give him a few seconds to jump on, and then as he jumps on, we're going to dive in to the good stuff. We're going to get down to the nitty gritty. I can already see his view request. Let me see. Let's see. Let me make sure we're good. Oh, there
What's
he
up,
is.
guy?
What up, what up, what up? How you feeling?
Let me tell you something, bro. Only because you the bro that listen. I'm not gonna stop eating my breakfast. I'm not gonna stop eating my breakfast to jump on live with just anybody. Okay, so just know.
Right. Hey, that's what I'm talking about. How long you been up, man? It look like you've been up already for a minute.
Come on, man. You already know. 2 a.m., 3 a.m. is for bosses, for CEOs. You're not 2, 3 a.m. We gotta
Hey,
conquer the day. 9 a.m., 10 a.m. People still wiping the crust out their eyes. We've already crushed all their work for the day.
that's what I'm talking about, King. I love it. I love it. What did you, before we dive in, what did you eat for breakfast?
All right, so first, before I tell you, because I'm not even about to front to
Right,
all your followers, this guy be getting on me about not eating enough carbs. Okay,
right.
he be
Mm-hmm.
grilling me. Him and Elijah be grilling me about
All
not
day.
eating enough. Okay, so I'm eating carbs. I got potatoes. I got potatoes. I just ate
Mm-hmm.
a muffin. I got some grits.
Uh-huh.
I got some grits right here. Okay, so it's cool. I got the muscular build. It's fine. I'm eating all the carbs, bro. And I got some egg whites, some chicken sausage. So it's a big breakfast.
I'm loving it. I'm loving it. I'm loving it. That's what I like to hear. So we're gonna dive in, y'all. In this video, we're gonna be talking about how ladies are dropping 3 to 4 dress sizes without
Mhm.
starving themselves, without living in the gym. And these women are dropping what, like 20, 30, up to like 40 pounds in just
Yeah,
90 days, right?
90 days.
So this
Yeah.
is about to be a huge gym. So as you guys have questions, as we talk about what these ladies are doing and what he has his members doing to drop this kind of weight, drop your questions down in the comments because this is going to be jam packed with a
Mhm.
lot of gems. Okay,
Let's get it.
so so but so before we dive into all the good stuff, all the tactics, all
Mhm.
the strategies, all the techniques,
Right.
Jay Lopez, I know about you. I know the type of transformation that you've been
Mhm.
able to help people have. I know all the huge entrepreneurs in the entrepreneur space that you've been able to help drop weight. Talk to me about who Jay Lopez is. What's the backstory behind Jay Lopez and how you got into fitness and helping people?
I love this question. So J Lopez was just like any other aspiring entrepreneur. J Lopez was stocking shelves at the warehouse. J Lopez had a son on the way. Unexpectedly, wait,
Mm,
look for the book, okay? Real talk, right? And I just hit a point where I was unhappy. I was unhappy with my life. I was unhappy with my finances. I was unhappy with my physical health, my mental health, and I just hit a breaking point. I hit a breaking point, and I saw my position where I was in life as like being on this boat that was like on fire, okay? And success or opportunity to me was like this island that was like a couple miles out, right?
mm,
And I had to really make a very strategic choice. I was like, okay, cool. Do you want to stay on this boat that is clearly up in flames, right? It's comfortable staying on this boat because jumping in the water, you're going to have to swim. You might drown, might get eaten by sharks. Entrepreneurship. Uh,
mm.
are you going to make that jump? You going to make that leap, or are you going to stay here? And I decided to make the leap. And, 5, 6 years later, bro, here I am.
Wow, that's awesome, man.
Yeah.
I have somewhat of a similar story. I jumped into fitness about 12 years ago,
Mm-hmm.
and I got into training people. And when I first started, everybody has that growth phase. You have to
Right.
build up your clientele,
Mm-hmm.
and then I jumped into this company called Body by Vi.
Right.
And me and you, we had a
You not
conversation
listen.
about
You
Body by
already know we had this talk.
Vi, and I actually had trophies and everything. This is a bodybuilding trophy, but let me see. Give me 1 second.
Let me tell y'all,
I got
anybody.
Trophies
Anybody
and medals.
that has awards from Body by Vi, any of those, right? They killing it in entrepreneurship now.
Oh
So
man, it's crazy. And
yeah.
so, pretty much what happened was the company pretty much went out of business. And so, I had a decision to make myself,
Mhm.
to get back what direction that I want to go in. I
Right.
had learned all these sales skills and how to communicate with people. And I jumped back into personal training, and I literally had 30 days to
Mhm.
make things work,
Right.
And so I got out in front of Lenox Mall, in front of Whole Foods out here in Buckhead, Atlanta,
Right.
passing out flyers, and I was able to get enough clients to like really relaunch my personal training business,
Right.
and never look back, man. It's crazy.
That was the intro, but that was that beautiful story, man. You already know.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
that's the intro to entrepreneurship. People think this entrepreneurship thing is just like, the jets and stacks of money and all the Bitcoin and crypto. No. Entrepreneurship is betting on yourself. And that's exactly what you did, man. So, already know. I tell you all the time, congrats.
That's facts. So I'm curious, man. What made you jump into fitness, though? Why not any other industry? Why jump into helping people with their health
Mhm.
and helping people lose weight? Why
Yeah.
why jump there?
Uh I'm gonna be honest, man. I found it. Like I tell people all the time, I found purpose. I found something that I was good at.
Yeah.
Um, I went to school for, first of all, served in the Navy, left the Navy. I worked at, the warehouses, the power plants, making good money, but I was unhappy. Just no purpose in that, right? I went to school
Right.
for music engineering. I did songwriting for a couple years. I went to tech school. I mean, I tried, I would say I tried everything. I tried everything that I thought would financially set me up. I tried
Mm-hmm.
everything that I thought would set me up in terms of just like purpose in life, and none of that stuff
Mm-hmm.
worked. And, I hit this point where I was like, man, got a son on the way, got a son on the way. You stocking shelves at this warehouse. You're unhappy. You got one more shot. I told myself, you got one more shot to do something that has purpose, right? Because you tried to do everything that makes money and it continues to lead you to unhappiness. Try something that has purpose in it. And
Right.
I thought really hard. And the only thing I could think of at the time was nutrition. I asked myself, like, what do
Mm-hmm.
you enjoy doing right now? And I wasn't
Right.
a meal prep guru, none of this stuff. I was just someone that had an interest in eating healthier. I was going to the gym just like anybody else. And when I looked online for nutrition courses, I found this personal training school, went and took a tour of the school, joined. I mean, I had anxiety through the roof. I didn't know what the outcome was going to be. I didn't know anything about personal training, but I just knew that I wanted something better for myself and I was willing to take that chance. And my first day, my first week in school, when the instructor started teaching us, I found
Mm-hmm.
something that I was obsessed with.
Mm-hmm.
So that was pretty much what got me there to fitness. I found
Wow.
it.
That's that's impressive because
Mm-hmm.
I think a lot of times you have these athletes like me, get out of high school, you go through college, and a lot of the athletes aspire to go to the pros, whether it's
Mm-hmm.
the NFL, the NBA, and then they tend to, they make a little bit of success, but then they find themselves in fitness because they had already been working out for so many
Right.
years,
Right.
and so it's pretty cool to see that it was a different route for you to say, okay, I want to focus on nutrition, get involved with helping
Mm-hmm.
people get in shape, lose weight. And so now I want to talk about the problems. What do you
Right.
feel like the reason why so many women have a big challenge with losing weight? What is the the challenge that they're going through that's causing them not to be able to see the results they want?
Hmm. I think the challenge is a challenge. I think I
Mm,
think the challenge of getting in shape is a challenge, right? Like
yeah.
a lot of women look at getting in shape as like this tall mountain you got to climb, right?
Mm,
This tall mountain, and it's it's lions up there and all that, right? Like all of this
right.
stuff, and they think about how long it's going to take to climb that mountain. They think about the fact that
Mm,
it's probably going to be cold and raining some days, right? And I would say that's like depression and anxiety. They think about all the work that has to be put in, and
mm,
that is a challenge in itself. And a lot of them don't really want to step up to that challenge. That's the biggest
wow.
struggle with women getting in shape.
So it's like the challenge, it just seems so overwhelming, so, big of a goal that they have to accomplish. They're like, it's gonna take too long, or is that what you mean?
Well, that and not just that, it's the fact it's not really like having to climb this mountain that's a challenge to them, right? That it's not
Mm,
that type of challenge that scares them or whatever. It's the
mm,
challenge of, okay, in order for me to like dedicate myself to like climbing this mountain, right? I'm going to have to
right.
step, step away from the family a little bit, or I'm going to have to schedule off some time. I'm going to have to get out of this horrible, crappy relationship or get away from these people that
Mm,
don't aspire to climb any type of mountain, right?
right.
And
Yeah.
basically having a lot of baggage. It's the baggage that creates that fear for women when it comes to getting in shape. They're thinking about everything they're holding on to right now.
Yeah, yeah. I see somebody in the comments. She says, we already have so much on our plate. And I
Right.
believe that's a real thing. So many
It is.
responsibilities. I
Facts.
think, yeah, that's huge.
Mm-hmm.
I wanna get to some of the questions that people say, that says, I was gonna ask, is low carb movement is good? Are you able to Oh, I know I'm not. Let me see. Let me make sure I'm reading this right.
Yeah, I can't scroll
Is you
down.
low carb
I think she was
movement
asking
good? Is you are not able to work out?
if you're not.
Uh, I can't really
Is the
process
low
that
carb
question.
movement good if you're not able to work out? Is that what she's asking? Is that that's
I'm
what?
assuming that's what she means.
Look, when you do it, when you've been we've been doing lives for a minute, we know how to communicate the typos.
Yeah.
Like that, he didn't mean
Right,
that
right, right,
word. This is what she really meant.
right, right,
Yeah,
right.
that's what it sounds like. So
Mhm.
low carb is great. Low carb is good, but if you were to ask me, is it necessary to help to assist a client with losing 30 or 40 pounds? Definitely not. I'm not putting a client on any type of low carb diet. Maybe for a few days or maybe for a week strategically, but you
Mhm.
cannot, in my opinion, right, working with my clients, you cannot continue to do that because your body's just going to hit a wall. You're going to lose 5, 8 pounds, right? You're going to get excited, and then boom, you're either going to gain it back or it's going to stop and you're going to be right back at square one.
Ooh, that's huge. This segues us into like one of the biggest things uh that holds a lot of people back,
Mhm.
like misconceptions that people hear about. Because that was a big misconception that I used to hear about too when I
Right.
first jumped into the fitness industry and helping people. Everybody said, "Oh, I can't eat no carbs. Like that's gonna make me fat,"
Yeah.
you know. And so, what are like two or three of the most common misconceptions that you hear over and over and over again in terms of people saying, well, ladies saying they can't lose the weight.
Yeah. The first so by misconception, I'm just gonna go off of like what we see on so out here in these social media streets, right?
Hmm.
Okay. So the first one is that you need to go on like a very low calorie starvation diet in order to lose weight, right? Like
Right.
that's this calorie deficit thing. I love to see these amateur over the night fitness coaches in my comment section that love to scream low calorie deficit. Okay, that
Hmm.
is a myth. Not everyone needs to go on a low calorie or a calorie deficit. And another thing, let me piggyback off that one. We need to stop confusing low calorie and calorie deficit with starvation. You're not going to starve your
That's a good
way,
point.
ladies, y'all not about to starve y'all way to no type of Tiana Taylor body or Beyonce, Rihanna. I hear it all on the coaching calls, by the way. So I'm only throwing these out there because it comes up, right? Y'all not about
That's
to
huge.
starve y'all way. You're not about to starve your way to a banging body. You're just not. Okay, that's the first misconception. The
Hmm.
second misconception is that you have to work out or do cardio every day. You got to seclude. I
Right.
mean, it looks
Yeah.
good. It looks good
Right.
online. It looks good on social media when they're interviewing these actresses and actors. It's like, oh, so and so to get in shape for this movie, he worked out.
Right.
And like, okay, cool, sounds good, but it's not necessary. As
Facts.
and we work with entrepreneurs too, right? And
Hmm.
whether someone's a business owner or not, they're still an entrepreneur. One of the
Facts.
biggest shifts that I had to make in order to become a successful entrepreneur, I had to stop being addicted to working and I had to start becoming addicted to productivity. It's two different things, right? So in our earlier careers, right, we were just addicted to working. I'm about to get up,
Hmm.
go hard this whole week, post online and train 50 clients And at the end of the week, we like, man, I killed it. But that bank account is not saying that, right? And then we hit a point where we realize, like, okay, listen, you do not need to physically and mentally exhaust yourself if it's not really going to benefit you. So once we set the goal of being productive, it means that we're going to take out a certain amount of time and be strategic with it, do the right things, do the things that, or you speak about it, right? You put me on game, right? Doing the 20% or whatever, right? The things that really matter. We let go of the things that don't work, and we grab the things that are really going to put us ahead of the game. That's called being productive. So I'm saying that to say you do not need to work out every day. You don't need to do cardio every day. So to make the decision not to get in shape because you feel like you can't do it every day, to me, that's an emotional decision. That's emotional, right? And when we make emotional decisions as entrepreneurs, we fail. So that's the second myth, right? You got to work out, do cardio every day. You do not, okay? The third thing I would say is for someone to say there's this myth that, if you've never been in shape, it's harder for you to get in shape. If you've never been in shape, if you've never had this banging body, it's going to be harder for you to get in shape. Or if you have not worked out in a while, or it's been, over 5 or 10 years, you can't, your body's just not going to let you get back in shape. That's a complete lie as well.
Oh, 100%. 100%. Yeah, I think definitely the second one that you just said. All three of them are misconceptions.
Yeah.
But that second one about people thinking they have to work out every day, or they feel like they have to work out for hours. What you were just talking about, as far as like working out strategically and being more productive.
Right.
Because you and I both know if somebody really wants to lose weight, all they have to do is dial in the nutrition.
Right.
Now, and the workouts, that's going to help them gain a lot more momentum, build up their metabolism, get them stronger, tone them up, tighten them and tone them up. But that nutrition is, if they don't get that part right without starving themselves, they're going to have an uphill battle. And
yeah.
I see.
Yeah,
What are you about to say?
because the body, right? And let's, first of all, these type of conversations that we have in person, and we already know there's one thing that needs to be applied to all types of conversations like these. Make sure that your emotions are not involved in this conversation. So for anyone that is listening now, I'm going to ask you to take your emotions away from this. All right, take your emotions out of this conversation. Your emotions are just based off of like what you feel, right? What you've heard. We're gonna talk logic, okay? The body is a survival mechanism. The human body, right? The human body is a survival mechanism. What this means is if you try to hold your breath long enough, like you'll pass out, right? Your body's gonna be like, no, you tripping. Let's just shut it down, right? If you're running outside, you fall, scrape your knee, that knee is going to scab up. The body's going to say like, okay, cool, let's protect this while it heals, right? So the body's a survival mechanism. Knowing that, when you make the decision to overwork yourself and not give your body enough calories to maintain, like let's take the weight loss out of the picture, let's take getting tone, building muscle, let's take that out of the picture. When you're not even taking enough calories to like maintain your body's going to know. And what it does is, in order for you to survive, it just wants you to survive. It's going to slow up the rate that is digesting your food. It's going to slow up the rate that is pulling those nutrients. Once your body slows up the rate that it's pulling the nutrients, it's going to slow up your fat burn. So you're screwing yourself. But in our minds, we're going to the gym, we're doing the cardio, we're doing the crunches, we're killing it. And then 5 days a week in the gym, and I'm stepping on a scale, I'm not seeing the numbers I want. Or I'm looking in the mirror and that belly fat is still there. What is up? I'm frustrated. That's emotional. You need to be logical with yourself and realize that, to be honest with you, your body thinks you're killing yourself.
That's real. Overwork.
Overwork.
And underpaid results.
Exactly. That's that's a nice one. I like that. Let me put that in the notepad here, bro.
I know, right? I see somebody drop the question. They say, how to balance nutrition and anti-inflammatory diet with getting enough nutrients for muscle building and toning. Is it a lot of fruit and vegetables?
That's
Is
a
it
lot.
more
That's
protein?
A whole consultation.
I know.
That's
What about healthy carbs? So do you want to take it or you want me to take it?
You got it, bro. And look, I'm gonna say this respectfully. I would just pick one of those, because that sounded like 3 or 4 questions in one. So I would take that first part and just expound on that one.
Yeah, totally. I believe when it comes to anti-inflammatory foods, like obviously all of our bodies are different, and that's a big thing that a lot of people don't take into consideration
Right.
whenever they jump on any diet, any workout program, any transformation program, or jump on with a trainer or something like that.
Mhm.
What's going to work the best for my body isn't going to be the same thing that's going to work the best for your body,
Right.
and in terms of that's in terms of the workouts, but that's also in terms of the nutrition. And so, certain types of food that I used to eat when I first got involved with wanting to get my body in shape, I used to eat things like broccoli.
Mhm.
And there's nothing wrong with broccoli, but my body couldn't digest and break down broccoli that well. And so I used to have gas. I used to find
Mhm.
myself bloated a lot, inflammatory.
Right.
Uh, Foods like that have a lot of sugar in it, that's also going to be inflammatory. Everybody
Mhm.
want to eat some sugar,
Right.
but they're not aware that sugar is going to cause inflammation. And
Mhm.
so you got to be aware of these foods that are high glycemic foods that have a lot of sugar in it, because it's going to increase your risk of having like a lot of inflammation or feeling bloated. And so
Right.
a better approach is to have more foods that are low glycemic. And so certain types of fruits that have less sugar in it. So blueberries, strawberries,
Mhm.
fruits like that, raspberries, certain types of proteins. But you got to
And
be aware of,
all those are
mm,
great, man. And one thing,
yeah.
I want to expound on too, because I
Mm-hmm,
know who you specialize in working with,
mm-hmm,
especially for the men. Not just the men on here, but the women, but especially for the men in reference to him and who he works with, right? One thing y'all have to realize in a room full of 100 people, right? If we were to put Jay Jackson in a room full of 100 men, different shapes, different sizes, right? That had the goal of finding out what types of foods make them bloated, he would need 4 to 6 weeks to figure that out anyway. That's not something he'd just be able to like step in front of each person, grab out a pen and pad and write it down. And the reason I'm saying this is because I know there's a lot of coaches out here that are making y'all think that they got the master blueprint to nutrition. We have the
yes.
blueprint, we know the science, but understand that every human being is different. There's we have to design a plan based off of our knowledge, right? We have to assess where you are. How much do you weigh? What,
Yeah.
how many times have you gotten in shape? What have you tried? What have you not tried? Great. We take all this information, we design a nutritional a nutrition and a training plan. You have to trust us enough to follow it 100%. So if you don't follow it
True.
100%, there's nothing to assess yet, right? And there's
Right.
frustration on your end, but you follow it, we have to assess that and then say like, okay, cool, based off my assessment, I think we should keep this the same. Or okay, I think that it's possibly these 3 or 4 vegetables. Let's give it another couple weeks, right? And this is the
Ooh,
conversation that not everyone wants to accept. But I want y'all to understand
yes.
when
Ooh.
you're working with a real coach, when you're working with a real coaching
Mm-hmm.
is not give me a meal plan, give me a workout. That is not real coaching. All right. And I know there are coaches out there that just do that. That's fine. But I'm telling you
Right.
right now, in order to transform someone's body, there is a lot of assessment and homework that goes into it that if we were to really let the client into that and let y'all see what we do, you'd be like, man, I
Oh
can't
man.
even I can't even believe you charging me what you charging me. This is like doctor level, right? Like so
That's so true.
yeah.
Yeah, I think that a lot of people, this is where having a coach or a mentor really comes in at, because sometimes people tend to buy these, these diets or these
Mm-hmm.
workouts that cost like $50,
Mm-hmm.
but they find themselves maybe getting a little bit of results or not seeing any results at all
No results at
after a
all.
few weeks.
Yeah.
And they're like, man, why am I stuck? Why am I hitting a plateau? Why is the scale not moving?
Yeah.
Why is my belly not dropping? And this is where paying, you got to pay the price. You got to be willing to invest in yourself. And I tell people all the time, this is a premium investment.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the reasons why is because all those years that I spent to learn, go to college, get my exercise science degree, get different certifications. And so that way I can help you not make those mistakes. So you don't have
Right.
to spend all that time trying to spin your wheels and figure things out, making mistakes. And, I can understand how to assess where you are right now and see exactly what foods you've been eating, how
Right.
much you've been eating, what
Right.
workouts you're doing, and help them make those adjustments without them having to think. you
Yeah, well,
know.
and
But
one of, not to cut you off, but one of the biggest things I had to learn about that, because I know you said, you have to pay the price.
yeah.
Very true. But what I've learned is like you have to you got to pay the value. Like you have to
Mm,
pay the value. Price and value is two different things, right?
mm.
Price and value is two different things.
That's
I was in a consultation with, I rarely consult with males, right? Majority of my clients are women.
hmm
Hats off to you, by the way, because Jay Jackson, I don't, I'm light skinned, bro. I mean, look, I'm on my Drake shit. I can't do too much ego, bro. It ain't gonna happen.
I
But
feel it.
I was consulting with someone one time, and he was an athlete and he wanted to get in shape. And
Uh-huh.
I told him, at the end of this consultation, I told him what the price point was, what the investment was to work with me for 90 days, right?
Right,
And
right,
he's just
right.
like, well, I didn't, okay, well, I don't know. I didn't expect for it to be that much. Okay, cool. Okay, cool. Let's have a conversation here. Let's take the investment off the table, right? Like I'm no longer offering you my services. Let's just have a conversation here because I want to make sure that I communicated everything effectively, whether you go to work with someone else or not, right? So I said, let me get this straight. You've been overweight because of what reason, right? I'm overweight and I'm out of shape because of depression eating, right? Been depression eating the past couple of years. Okay, cool. Like, what made you depressed? I'm depressed. I was
hmm
depressed because, I wanted to go pro. I wanted to go pro, but I didn't, because I injured myself. Like, okay, cool.
Right,
And you
right.
have the goal right now. You have the goal of basically losing weight, getting back in shape, and possibly going out for something an opportunity that you missed 3, 4 years ago, right? He's like, yeah, very clear. I'm like, okay, cool.
Right.
So I said, let me ask you a question. How did your parents feel when you did not go pro?
Mm.
He couldn't even tell me. Like, almost got choked up. I'm like, okay, cool.
Interesting.
Let's put
Mm.
that in a jar. Let's put a top on it. How did your fiance feel when you didn't go pro?
Mm.
Now here's the tears, right? I'm like, okay, cool. Because this is just me and you on this call, right? Like, this is just me and you on this call. We're not in a room full of people. This is man to
Right.
man. Obviously, you're on this call because you want to change something about your life. You're not happy, right? So I said, if I was to snap my fingers right now and I could get this 40 pounds off of you, like get this 40 pounds off you, get you in tip top shape, and you was to go pro. I said, keep it real with me right now. How much would you be willing to invest? What would that be worth to you?
Mm.
He was like 3 million. Okay.
Yeah.
So for a fact that if I could get you to your goal, it'd be worth 3 million. But you're folding on a what 4-figure price point right now? I'm like, let's take
hmm
emotion out of it. Like, does that make sense?
Right. Yeah. Yeah. That's crazy.
Of course
Yeah.
not. But I'm only and only look. Only reason I'm taking a second to communicate this, something a consultation, which I rarely do, is because I want a lot of us to start being real. Like, and I'm only speaking from a place of someone who, at one point, I didn't have this type of mindset. If I
Yeah.
still had this, scarcity mindset, I valued everything except for my health, I would not be where I am today. So I felt that, man, when you said you got to pay the price, like you already know, and you know me, I'm a Taurus,
Yeah.
bro. So I'm protective. I don't like it. I'm not down for anybody down talking anyone that I know is offering value. You know what I
That's
mean?
facts.
So
That's facts.
yeah, that's my thoughts on that.
I love it, man. I love it. I see Tom Sullivan. What's up, King? He says inflammation leading cause of disease. Increase your gut health by eating fermented foods. Over 80% of our immune system is in our gut. 100%. He's right about that. We are what we eat.
Hmm.
Enjoying this on the way to work. Love it, man. And
You
that's
wear
so
what you
true, man.
eat.
Yeah. We are what we. Yeah, exactly. I see what you just did right there. Very
Hmm.
true. That's so true. True, Tom. That's very true. You know, I see somebody else has a question. You do guest speaking at events and for a consultation where to get the price in. Um, I'm assuming that she's talking to you. So towards the end, we'll talk about how you can get in touch with J Lopez and everything. How you can get in touch
Yeah,
with
this
me.
about Jay
Obviously,
Jackson.
well, this is about both of us.
Facts.
We
Facts.
added value right now. We just
Right.
dropping game. But just to touch on that topic that Tom was just talking about. far as like the foods that we eat and how it affects our health. And it's super important because, you know, in my life, I have somewhat sensitive skin, I guess, a version of eczema.
Right.
And this is how I realized food was so critical to not only losing weight, but just other aspects of our health, right? Because our skin is an organ. And so, you know, I used to eat certain types of food, a certain amount of sugar too often, and I would notice my hands would break out. I'm like, why are my hands breaking out in hives? You know, and the doctor, when I would go to the physician and I would say, my mom would say, hey, what's going on with my son? They're like, well, he just needs to put cocoa butter on his hands. You know, didn't work. And so I started using like the process of elimination. All right, what am I eating? You know, let me start to remove the things that I'm eating and just break it down. And then I noticed it was a certain type of sausage that I was eating that was causing my hands to break out. And now I say that to say there's other things that people are doing with their diet, and they're overwhelmed. They're overwhelmed with their diet. They're overwhelmed with the workouts because they're not seeing the results. And there's so much information online. And one of the things is fitness professionals, weight loss professionals, transformation professionals. One thing that we're able to do is simplify the process for people. We're able to break things down, because I don't care if you're in business, whether it's weight loss, anything. If you want to find a sense of not feeling overwhelmed, you have to break things down. One of my great mentors, Jim Rohn, you know, he's like one of the godfathers of personal development, mindset. You know, there's this book he has on Audible. It's called, I think it's called the Ultimate
Jim Rohn Library.
Jim Rohn Library. There you go.
So listen,
every week I'm plugging in.
Facts.
And one of the things he talks about is if you want to overcome procrastination, if you want to overcome the overwhelm, you got to break it down. Breaking things down is how you simplify. And so that you can really get more clarity around what steps you need to take to get the results you want. Or otherwise, you're going to find yourself, I'll get started next week. Well, I'll get started next month. I'll get started next year. And it just never happens because you never either broken it down yourself to simplify the process, or you weren't willing to invest in a professional to break things down for you. And so that way you don't have to think about how much you need to eat, what you need to eat, when you need to eat, what you need to do for your workouts. You have us to give you that value, and so that you can go out and just get the results by doing the work.
And I know that the way that you're explaining this right now.
Yeah.
I know that the way that you're explaining this, you know, it's so easy for someone to say like, well, you know, why would I pay my money to get somebody when I can just figure it out on my own? Like,
ooh, that's a big one.
Right? Like, why would I pay you when I can just figure it out on my own? Okay.
Let's talk about it.
Okay, let's talk about it. More specifically, entrepreneurs, because unfortunately, if you are not an entrepreneur, in most cases, if you're not an entrepreneur, business owner, unfortunately, you're not really, you know, how do I put this? You're not leveraging your time as much as someone who isn't, right? Like, because if you're 9 to 5er, you're getting paid for like that hour in most cases. Entrepreneurs, we're getting paid for our time, but we're getting paid for our value, right? Cool. So if we snap our fingers right now and make me like 40 pounds overweight, right? 40 pounds overweight, and I know that I want to get in shape. I could put in the time to try to design a plan. Of course, I could design my own plan, but this is gonna come full circle in a second.
Yeah.
I could invest my time in designing a plan, assessing my own goals while trying to run my business. But eventually I'm going to hit a wall because it's hard to focus on my clients and other things and focus on myself. It's just really hard to do that. You know what I mean? So it's so much better just to go ahead and invest into someone else that can have an outer view and say like, hey, look, I need you to do this. I need you to do that. Okay, cool. I don't have to take my attention off of my clients and my business, right? So to me, it's a logical decision to invest in the coaching. It's a logical decision. Emotionally, no. Like I don't want to spend my money. I want to keep that's an emotion. I would love to keep this money in my account. But logic says that if you
That's
take a
right.
certain amount of money in your account and you invest it into coaching someone that can get you to your goal a lot quicker, you're going to make that back like 5 times as much in 30 days or
Man,
less.
man,
So,
the time is critical, man. Like when you invest, you're not investing in just the results, but you're investing in speed.
right.
You know, because most people, they could, it's everything is online.
Mhm.
Everything is on Google and YouTube, right? But what's one of the biggest problems that people say they have? One of the biggest concerns, they don't have the time. I don't
Right.
have the time to work. I don't have the time to do X, Y, and Z.
You don't
And
have the
so,
time. You don't have the time because you don't own your time yet. If you would just own your time, if you would buy back your time, you would have the time. And we were in
that's
this
true.
position. This was us at one point, right? You told me that, hey,
Hmm.
when Body by Vi, right, shut down, you didn't own your time any longer, right? Like really, you owned your time, but it didn't really have much value. You didn't have any money. So you're like, okay, cool. Let me get out here and get on my grind, get some clients on my
Hmm.
roster, and then I can buy myself some time because I know
Oh
I got
yeah,
the money coming in, right?
it's a
So
wrap.
understand that when you want to become successful, when you want to continue to climb these entrepreneurship charts, not even entrepreneurship, we'll say social
Hmm.
life charts. Like, okay, I'm not able to go out on a weekend because I'm always having to work. Well, if you want to buy back some of your time, take some of that money, spend your
Hmm.
weekend working on your business, spend your weekend working on yourself and increasing your value. When you increase your
Hmm.
value, you're going to increase your income. When you increase your income, you can outsource a lot of these things that you're having to spend a lot of time doing. Everybody's
Instant
not ready for this
leverage.
conversation. And the only reason I'm able to communicate this is because I am telling y'all that I went from not 9 to 5, I went from like 6 a.m. to 10 p.m. to jumping into entrepreneurship to jumping out of it, jumping back in, and now
Hmm.
scaling my business. Thank God. So,
Right.
Jay Jackson
Yeah.
trying to tell y'all to get it together, man. Invest in the coaching.
Yeah, you gotta invest in it, man, because it's like I was saying, you can either spend hours on YouTube and on blogs and reading all these magazines.
Mm-hmm.
And even though the information is there, one of the big issues is what's the right information for you?
Right.
You know, what's the wrong and right information for you to take and like just laying it out into a systematic approach to where you can guarantee you're gonna get the results if you put in the work. Like
Right.
if I wanted to, I can guarantee people results, but that's assuming that they're gonna do the work.
Assuming that they're going to follow the listen. I tell people all the
Assuming that
time,
they're
I'm
gonna do
not
the work.
guaranteeing nothing. I just had a client, just had an amazing client on my roster. She's in her first week, and that was one question she asked before joining. Okay, I have a question. Has anyone ever joined the program, followed the plan, and not gotten results?
No.
And I was like, yeah, just one person. One out of the thousands. And she's like,
Uh,
who is that? I'm like, it's someone that was training and then she found out she was pregnant by her fiance. So technically she started gaining weight without knowing it. But I was like, that's about it. Other than that, everyone's followed the plan and lost weight, with the exception of her, right? Like
right.
childbirth, right? She was literally manufacturing a whole human being in the middle of being on my damn program. But other than that, no.
That's a hell of a story. She started losing the weight, and so her husband started looking at her. He's like, "Oh, you
Nah,
getting
to
in
be honest
shape,
with you,
Shay?"
to be looking back, I think that transaction had already went down before she started training, to be honest with you.
Oh,
But
got
Um, saying that to say for everyone that's always looking for these promises from coaches, here's one thing I had to start doing too. And
right.
and when I speak about coaching, understand something. I invest into my nutritional coaching. I invest into fitness coaching. I have a fitness coach. I have a business coach. These are things I invest into on a monthly basis. So I get a ton of DMs from trainers and other entrepreneurs that, oh man, I want to earn more income. Listen, if you want to earn more income, you want to get in shape, you want to get ahead in life, just get a coach. Just get a coach. I know maybe sitting in your position, it's like, okay, I'm gonna just figure it out on my own. No, you're not. I'm about to tell you right now, no, you're not. And even if you do like look up and figure it out, guess what? You're gonna collapse because you're gonna hit a wall and you're not gonna know how to figure it out. You're gonna need someone that has failed repeatedly and fix the problem. What better person than to get a coach? But for all y'all that are like
Facts.
looking for promises, I get a lot of people always want promises. Make some promises to yourself. Like I promise that I'm
Ooh,
gonna join this program and do
that
everything
go.
it takes.
That's gonna hurt him. That's gonna hurt him.
God is
That's
real,
some
but I have to make.
promises. Ooh.
Listen. I'm meeting with a new trainer on Thursday, right? I'm going to meet with a new trainer, And to be honest with you, I think this guy is like my coach's coach. So like I respect all my coaches, right? Like we all in the same circle. We all do business together, all of that, right? So I'm like, okay, cool. I'm trying to get to this level physically. And I know that due to your schedule, you're not able to get me there. So I'm going to go with your coach, right? The guy that's been training you. Like I know it's going to be a bigger investment financially. Cool. Time wise is going to be a bigger investment. But before I go into this, I have to make myself a promise that like whatever you got to do to get in tip top shape and hit this next body goal, you're going to do it.
Ooh, that leads me right into the last question I want to ask.
What's up?
A lot of times, business professionals, entrepreneurs, people who are trying to get in tip top shape, they want to look the part. They want to feel energized. They want to have this health, right?
Right.
But they're not motivated.
Mm-hmm.
What do you say for somebody who's not motivated to get in shape? Who's they want to do it, but they're just not motivated to lose the 30 pounds, to go to the gym or eat, the food that they should be eating. What are your thoughts on that?
Just imagine like your crush seeing you and being like, "Dude, if that ain't good enough, I'll give you the other one." But that, that's my life now. Like, to be honest with y'all, fellas, let's be real. Like, y'all don't really care about the beer gut. Y'all, come on. We want the ladies. Y'all want the female attention. Y'all want the money. Like, you want to increase the quality of that. You got to increase the quality of yourself. But there's that.
Ooh,
so if you don't want to accept that one, if you don't want to have that conversation, then I'll give you this other one. You're not going to sit in this space of like taking no action and being overweight, out of shape, unsuccessful, and then like build motivation from there. You're going to get motivated by taking action. So I know that in your mind, you're like, I need to get motivated to get in shape. Well, you're going to get motivated by taking the action. So when you first start, you don't have to be motivated. I know that social media is making y'all think differently. Like, you got to get motivated to get in shape. No, you don't. You can just like want to change. That you don't have to be motivated to lose weight. You can just want to change. That is good enough to get started. Once you get started with the coach and you start to see results, guess what? You're going to be like, man, I lost 2-3 pounds. You know what? I think I want to continue doing this. Oh man, 6 pounds down. I'm motivated to do more. 10 pounds down. You know what? I've been going to the gym 2-3 times a week. Let's make it 4. I've been doing cardio 60 minutes a week. Let's make it 90. You know what? What's it take to get bigger arms, bigger chest? It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if the training is painful. It doesn't matter if the meal plan is boring, because the results are not boring. The results are exciting. So you get motivated by taking action.
Yeah, I'm a firm believer in action being the number one thing that's going to make those results happen. And I think there's this saying, this quote that's always floating around: knowledge is power. What's that guy, Ty Lopez? I used to always tap into him. I'm in the
I follow him too, man.
my garage right now. And,
right.
I'm a Lambo, but what's even more impressive than a Lambo? These books, the knowledge.
Right.
But in reality, like, even though I love Ty Lopez, it's the action. It's what you do with that knowledge that makes it powerful. And when it comes to the motivation, another thing aside from action is understanding the reason why. Like, why do you want to lose the 30 pounds? Why do you want to lose, 3 or 4 dress sizes? Why do you want to lose 100 pounds? Is it because you want to have more self-confidence? Is it because you don't want to have to worry about your health? Is it because you might have sleep apnea and you don't want to have to worry about, going to sleep one day and not waking up?
Right.
And you having family who you're leaving behind, who's going to be dependent on you, you can't fend for them anymore because you're no longer here.
I'm listening to all of those things, man. And I think those are very valid reasons. You know what I mean? Very valid reasons. And as someone who, I lost both of my parents when I was like 13. I lost both of them to sickness. And I lost both of them to sickness. Yeah. But I don't think that for a moment, when they was going through what they was going through, I don't think they really thought out like what my life was going to be like by them not being here. Right. And I'm not saying that they did this intentionally. I'm saying this to say, unfortunately, sometimes what is a why to someone else is not going to be good enough for someone else, right? It's
That's
just
true.
not. Like my why for staying in shape is obviously to continue to be successful. I want to be here as long as I can for my son. I just want to be a great example for
There you
him.
go.
I'm the only entrepreneur in
Yeah.
my family, right? All this stuff is important. But then you
Hmm.
got someone else who may be in my same position and they just don't want it bad enough. They don't want to become a better version so they can show their child, their son or daughter, that they can, make it from maybe they don't want to do that. So I don't
Yeah.
try to push these things, and I know we don't try
Hmm.
to force and convince,
So
but
true. So true.
everything that you just said is valid, bro. Very.
Yeah. I what I look at now, because I'm huge on marketing and more
Mm,
so like communication, because marketing is just really how to communicate with people
right, right.
and knowing people's desires and stuff like that. And I
Mm,
find that if people don't look at the consequences of staying the same, if
yeah.
the outcome, the benefit of getting to where they want to be at doesn't outweigh the consequences
Mm,
or staying where they are, they won't change. And
right.
so it's like you said, hey man, I want to look the part because I want to be an example for my son. And a
Yeah.
lot of times, if people's reason whys don't stack up enough, they won't make that change. Your son is a big enough reason why for you to get out, get shit done, and want to look the part while you're doing it.
Right.
Want to look the part while you're building your business. Have that energy to be able to get up at 2:30, 2 o'clock, 3 a.m. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Everybody ain't built like that. But when you got
Yeah.
a big enough reason why, hey, you do things that you didn't think you could do. You know,
Right. And it's not, and when I say like, and I know we talk, and I hear this all the time too from other parents, I want to create generational wealth. I want to be here longer for my kids. Like, but it's like they take no action. And to be honest with you, I think that a lot of us need to do a better job at defining what our reality is going to be if we do make the good decisions and if we don't. Every day
mm,
or every week, I define both. I define two different types of realities. It's not just one
okay,
reality. Of course, I manifest the things that I want to accomplish and I become who I want it to be. And, we set goals and we hit bigger goals. But there's
right.
another thing that I do all the time too. I assess what my reality will be like if I stop doing what I'm doing. If I was to stop working out,
Mm,
stop investing into my business, stop going to counseling, if I stop doing these things, I'm going to become the very thing that I saw in my family. I'm going to become exactly what a lot of the men in my family became. They became unhappy. They became depressed. They became someone that gets up every day, goes to work this regular job or work 20 years and retired for a plaque on a wall, and they're
that's
unhappy.
facts.
And I know these things because I saw it and they told me, right?
Mm,
So yeah, it's an uncomfortable thing having to assess where you are and having to take those leaps for yourself. It's an uncomfortable thing, but
very.
I will say nothing is more uncomfortable than regret. Nothing. It's not,
That's so true.
because it's not. I grew up. I was raised by foster parents that had regrets, and all they did was traumatize all day. Literally, they
Mm,
spent my whole childhood was negativity, and it took me getting older to realize that the reason that I grew up around so many negative people was because they themselves did not accomplish what they wanted to in life. They didn't conquer their fears. They didn't invest into themselves, get that education they wanted, get that
mm,
certification, start that business. They didn't do that. So every day,
yeah.
and I think you're frozen. When I'm investing into my business, when I'm investing into my health, it's not just about staying in shape. I'm investing to ensure that I don't have to meet regret. I'm investing to make sure that I don't have to meet this future where I'm just like looking back, asking myself, like, man, what if you would have started that business? Or what if you
Right.
would have invested into that coaching course? What if you would have become the first, obviously, I can't say I'm the first six-figure earner in my family. I can't say that. I don't see any, but I definitely
Right.
know I'm about to be the first million. I'm definitely going to be the first millionaire in my family, the first entrepreneur. Like, you know what?
Right.
That's worth it. That's worth investing everything, because
Yeah.
growing up, I used to look up to the rappers. I
Yeah.
didn't have anybody at home to look up to. I used to look up to, the Jay-Z's and the Jeezys and stuff. And I didn't look up to what they did. I didn't say like, okay, cool. If you get out here and you know what I mean,
Yeah.
do this, and this, I didn't look up to that. I just looked up to the fact that there was like grown ass men out here killing it successfully. Right. So
Right.
I don't want my son to have to rely on rappers and athletes. I don't want him to
Right.
just have to be in middle school and high school having to look in magazines to look up to another man. Like, you don't have to do that, bro. You up under the
Yeah.
same roof with another multimillionaire that's
Right.
killing it in entrepreneurship, tatted,
Ooh.
all of that. This me, right? So
Right.
that's my why.
Ooh. That's powerful, man. Dropping bombs in the morning.
Plenty.
That's
Plenty.
hey. I'm
Look, we got to listen. I tell you all the time. When I get booked for fitness, for wellness, bro, they don't get wellness. They get in these entrepreneurship gems because y'all can
but
y'all can join my program to get in shape, but you ain't gonna get this in a book.
hey,
It's organic.
but what's crazy? A lot of lessons in entrepreneurship, it stems over into how to get in shape, how to lose weight, because
Yeah.
a lot of it is problem solving and becoming self aware.
Mm.
Knowing what's going to work the best for you versus what you shouldn't spend that much time on.
Mm.
But hey man, I appreciate you coming on, and as we wrap this bad boy up, I want you to share any parting words to anyone that may be listening right now, watching
Mm.
right now, and they're in a position of they're ready to make a change in their life, and they're not really sure exactly what they need to do. They may feel a little discouraged, or they may find themselves just having a little bit of overwhelm on what they need to do to make things happen. What would
Okay.
you say for those people as your parting words?
I got three. I'm gonna give all three. I'm gonna give y'all three. The first two are great. They're really key. First one, fellas, fellas, if y'all tired of being, high body fat percentage and high ego, drop the ego and buy whatever Jay Jackson is selling. That's the first thing. That's the first. Be the best decision you make. Be the best decision. Listen, we got one more week left in the new year. So if you already know you let these 20 something days pass you and accomplish nothing, you're not about to do nothing the rest of these 11 months. Okay. So in whatever Jay Jackson is selling, buy it. Okay. That's the first. Ladies, tap the link in my bio, schedule a call, come prepared to invest in order to level up your body in your business, get that man in that business of your dreams, because it happens on my program. That's the second. Third, make decisions based off of where you want to be instead of where you are. That's
Ooh,
it. Yeah.
that's
That's it.
deep.
Yeah, man.
That's deep.
Yeah.
I like that.
It's
Have
been
that
great.
vision. Yeah, this was awesome, man. This
Yeah,
is
man.
amazing. We'll have to do it again soon, man.
Facts. For sure.
For anybody that wants to go follow J Lopez, drop your handle. What can they find you at?
The
Like your
Trainer
handles.
God. The Trainer God. Tap in with me.
The Trainer Guide on
Mhm.
Instagram, and what about like Facebook? Are you big on Facebook or no?
You look, you've been coaching me. You've been coaching me on getting on the face. That's another thing, fellas. Entrepreneur men. Jay Jackson also helps y'all level up the coaching on other platforms. Okay, so I'm not really on the Facebook, but if y'all tap the link in my bio, you can subscribe to my
Cool.
YouTube. I've been putting a lot of content on there too.
Bet. All right, man. I appreciate you jumping on with me, and we'll have to do it again soon.
Likewise,
Appreciate you.
bro, for sure.
All right, now.